The following broadcast is a Universal Citizen media production and is not a Galactic Historian product. The facts and circumstances of this broadcast has been taken from hundreds of accounts of demonic possessions and exorcisms being performed. We at Universal Citizen Media strive for authenticity and have stuck true to the narrative of these accounts. Let he who is of strong heart seize, savor, and learn from this broadcast, and may the profane fall away, as even in the midst of a flood the fool remains thirsty.
The Reckoning of Felicity. Chapter 9, Breaking Free. As dawn broke over the lingering mist of twilight, Felicity surveyed the horizon from a quiet clearing beneath ancient trees. Her heart, once a battleground of chaos and melancholy, now throbbed with cautious hope. The scars of previous encounters with ethereal forces were still vivid, a tapestry of pain and triumph interwoven. In the waking hours, every dewdrop shimmered like a memory, a reminder of both sorrow and renewal. Today, her steps carried the weight of old regrets and the promise of gentle rebirth. Each footfall resonated with the cadence of life, inviting long-forgotten echoes to join in the symphony of recovery. As she moved forward, the landscape around her whispered secrets of the past, stirring feelings of both trepidation and an unexpected liberation. The spectral remnants of bygone nights seemed to dissolve into the light, their once ominous presence receding slowly as the warmth of healing enveloped her. This was not a journey of erasure, but one of fragile reawakening, where every whispered memory held the possibility of transformation and peace. Following that dawn of gentle light, Felicity, accompanied by Caleb, the serene spirit guide, journeyed along a winding path through dense groves and silent meadows. Caleb, whose wisdom was as deep as time itself, spoke with measured calm about the nature of healing. He explained that every spectral encounter, every trial of the heart, had prepared her for this moment of reclamation. Their conversation wove through the intricacies of memory and regret, each word forming a luminous bridge between the realm of past sorrows and a future imbued with possibility. In quiet exchanges, Caleb encouraged Felicity to embrace her history without fear, inviting her to open the door to emotions long suppressed. The path, dappled with sunlight and shadow, became a living metaphor for the duality of life. Moments of overwhelming darkness gave way to glimmers of hope. The ancient trees stood as silent witnesses to her transformation, their gnarled branches reaching out as if to cradle her in shared understanding. Amid the rustle of leaves and the soft murmur of nature, Felicity realized that her journey was one of gradual restoration, a process where pain served as the fertile soil for the seeds of resilience and rebirth. Later in the day, as the temperature of the earth warmed and the whispers of nature turned introspective, Felicity found herself in a secluded grove. Here, she paused to confront the shadows of her past, where memories of grief, both personal and mystical, had long been entangled. Each memory was a delicate thread connecting her to a time of despair, when the line between the physical and the paranormal blurred into uncertainty. In the stillness of the grove, the air seemed to thicken with emotions. Sorrow mingled with a sense of liberation as every remembered mistake sparked an internal dialogue. Felicity revisited moments of raw vulnerability, those nights filled with restless calls to the unseen and days shadowed by the burden of guilt. The grove transformed into a sanctuary of self-acceptance, where she was allowed to experience each pang of regret without judgment. The natural world, with its rustling leaves and distant bird songs, mirrored her internal climate. Here, the sorrow of loss was not met with bitterness, but with an evolving understanding of the necessity to feel, to grieve, and ultimately to heal. In this space, haunted memories were gently acknowledged, serving as necessary catalysts for the metamorphosis that would pave the way toward personal redemption and inner strength. After the emotional communion with her past, Felicity and Caleb journeyed to an ancient stone circle nestled in a secluded clearing. The weathered stones, worn smooth by centuries of interactions with earthly and otherworldly forces, bore the markings of rituals long forgotten. Here, in the embrace of nature and time, sacred ceremonies came alive once again. Caleb instructed Felicity on how to perform a ritual of release, using natural elements and spoken mantras to dematerialize the lingering specters of regret and pain. As she chanted softly, her voice blending with the ambient hum of the wind and rustling grass, the atmosphere around her shimmered with latent energy. The ritual was as much an act of liberation as it was a conversation with the past. Every gesture carried meaning, and each syllable resonated with the pulse of ancient lore. With each passing minute, the heavy burden of years began to lift. The stone circle transformed into a canvas upon which Felicity repainted her future. The process was painstaking and raw, marked not by immediate triumph, but by gentle, incremental understanding. In that eternal moment, time itself seemed to pause, honoring the sacred union of memory, nature, and the resilient spirit of a woman unafraid to reclaim her destiny. As twilight neared, Felicity wandered further into the depths of her inner world, where feelings and visions converged into a tumultuous storm of remembrance. In the quiet of the evening, the veil between the living and the ethereal thinned, and she found herself immersed in a series of vivid dreams and reflections. Shadows of her former self danced before her eyes. Ghostly figures, both comforting and challenging, emerged from memories steeped in both sorrow and enlightenment. In a moment of introspective clarity, Felicity recalled the choices that had led her down this perplexing path. Every misstep and every moment of despair had been a lesson, a melancholic yet essential part of the continuum that wove her fate. The interplay of light and darkness within her mind produced an emotional chiaroscuro that few dared to confront. Caleb's presence was a constant reminder that even the fiercest tempests within could be calmed by understanding and acceptance. Night by night, as stars witnessed her silent conversations with lost fragments of self, Felicity gradually came to embrace the totality of her experiences. The journey demanded that she not only acknowledge the haunting sorrows, but also celebrate the resilience that had carried her through adversities. In the flickering lamplight of her recollections, each tear and every smile became a cherished note in the ballad of her life, a ballad that whispered of endurance, hope, and the promise of renewal. In the early hours of the following morning, after a night filled with both vivid dreams and quiet reflections, Felicity awoke to a world transformed. The remnants of the supernatural struggles were now interwoven with the gentle hues of a rising sun, crafting an ambiance that was both surreal and comforting. The journey she had undertaken over the past days had not erased the pain of her past, but it had reshaped it into a narrative of renewal. As she stepped out into an open field, a cool breeze carried whispers of ancient chants, and the earth beneath her seemed to hum with renewed vitality. Every step forward felt like a deliberate choice to embrace imperfection, to accept the dual nature of existence, where the ethereal and the tangible coexisted in delicate balance. There were moments during this morning of unspoken wonder, when the lines between dream and reality blurred, allowing the dormant energies within her to awaken fully. Felicity's eyes reflected a newfound clarity as she observed the interplay of light and shadow on the dew-covered grass. The landscape, bathed in soft pastels, was a living testament to the power of healing rituals and the wisdom imparted by Caleb. Echoes of forgotten songs seemed to emanate from distant hills, and each sound carried with it a promise of strength, belonging, and the potential for rebirth. In that expansive field, under a sky streaked with the colors of dawn, Felicity embraced her journey as an evolving process, one that did not require finality, but encouraged continuous growth, reflection, and acceptance of the past as a source of inner fortitude. The air was filled with an almost tangible sense of expectation, as if nature itself awaited the unfolding of her next chapter. Though challenges remained, this morning marked a turning point. It was a moment of quiet celebration, a silent communion with the universe, and a heartfelt acknowledgement of the power within her to transform pain into hope and despair into a vibrant, ever-renewing life force. With the break of a new day firmly in its stride, Felicity moved onwards along an ancient cobblestone path that meandered through a valley draped in morning mist. Each step resonated like a heartbeat, aligning with the rediscovered rhythm of nature and spirit. Alongside her, Caleb maintained a quiet vigil, offering insights that deepened her understanding of the interplay between past sorrows and future promises. The luminous aura of the morning infused the landscape, transforming every rock and stream into sacred symbols of resilience. As they advanced, subtle signs, a fleeting shadow among the trees, a burst of unexpected sunlight, spoke to the intricate balance of energies both earthly and otherworldly. Felicity felt a profound connection to the inexorable flow of time and existence, realizing that her odyssey of healing was not a destination, but an evolving continuum. The path stretched ahead, rich with mysteries awaiting discovery, inviting her to step further into a realm where every memory, every heartbeat, held the promise of renewal and the power to illuminate even the darkest corners of her soul.